Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Christel Crawford Show. I'm Christel Crawford. So you're with me here in Noosa, Australia. It's day 5 of Facilitators. I did not announce that I was going live, so for those of you guys that end up joining me, hi, surprise! And last week I skipped a show, which I don't do, but I did. And so this week I really wanted to talk about triggers. Because I have a new favorite tool right here from Facilitators. Hey Paulina, hey Alexander, hey Claudia. I have a new favorite tool for triggers, and so I wanted to do this show on triggers, talk about them a little bit, what they could be, what they are usually, and then my new favorite thing to use with them that I think is going to give you a lot of freedom and really simplify what you can be with you that will change the energy. Hi Rita, hi Christine, hey Fatma, hey. Hey, would you guys share this video for me so that we can get more people on? I didn't tell anybody I was going live. So anyway, I'm at a Certified Facilitator training right now, which is an annual training that I do every year for us as Certified Facilitators. Hey, and there's so much here that is going to be coming out of me from being here. But I was looking, one of the things that's been coming up a lot is the topic of fracking. Now, for those of you guys that follow the access consciousness stuff, there's a lot of people doing videos and talking about fracking right now. And what fracking is taking the energy of a pain, any pain, physical pain, emotional pain, the pain of watching some sort of insanity in the world, and actually using that energy to create a change. And here's how complicated it is. You literally get the sense of all that energy. A lot of times it'll show up in your body. You take that energy and you literally throw it. It's you just use that pain, that thing that's up, to actually frack, to split apart the insanity creating the pain. Now, one of the things I see I've done over and over and over in my life is I've made whatever the fuck is going on outside of me real. Here's what I mean by that. I'll give you a really recent situation even as of this morning. So I have somebody who's really close to me, who's dealing with the sensation of not having me energetically the same in their world. And so I'm watching this other person really deal with the reaction to that. And that's what a trigger is. That's why I call this triggers. What are they and what can you do to change them? Because a trigger is a reaction. A trigger is a reaction to something. And guys, we're living in a reality that supports reaction, really. I mean, when you look at every movie, every song, every goddamn therapy thing, everything is a response to all the reactions we have, right? So and so it's easy to just go into, well, why am I reacting? Because that's what we're taught to ask. Why am I wouldn't be reacting if there wasn't a reason, is the conclusion that we go to. Well, the thing is, there is no reason, and reactions are a choice. Now, reactions are one of these things that don't feel like a choice, right? They're one of these things that go on automatically. It's like these automatic pilot systems that we've just entrained ourselves to, and so we just react. Jesus, my whole childhood in regards to my mother was one big long string of reactions. So actually, if you guys have a situation in your life that you're dealing with right now that you don't know how to change, feel free to sum it up in 2 sentences and ask a question, and we can actually look at it on the show, because I didn't give you guys any notice and all of you are here. So I'd be happy to contribute this to your thing, but you just have to tell me about it. So feel free to comment. But I'll roll back around to my situation this morning with this other person, and his response to me normally would have created in me a reaction of looking for where he must be right, where I must be wrong, where I must have done something wrong. That's normally where we humanoids go. It's I must have done something wrong, or we get defensive. It's we either retreat and go into wrongness, or we get defensive, which is also wrongness. And instead of that, I used this new tool. I actually, what occurred was whatever occurred, and I'm looking at the situation, and I'm I have so many choices here. I can be upset, I can be pissed off, I can defend, I can react. But instead, with this new information in my world of fracking the stranglehold, here, I'll give you a really crazy phrase, fracking the stranglehold of techie reality, and I will explain that a little bit maybe. I just used all the energy that was there, because that's what happens when you have a situation where you want to react. There's a lot of energy there, right? People are doing judgment, they're doing projections, they might be doing blame, whatever is happening on the other side. So that's a lot of energy, right? So you take all that energy and you literally just frack the insanity underneath it. And so I just walked around my bedroom this morning and I was just fracking insanity. And what I love about this tool in particular is there's the simplicity of it. But guys, this is the thing, that's the thing about all of this shit, is that it is simple. And we get caught up in the making it complicated, in the head tripping and the trying to figure it out and trying to find the reason why, and all that stuff that doesn't actually lead to freedom. It might lead to a good cry, which feels like an emotional release, which feels like freedom. It might lead to a good conversation with somebody, which feels good because it's an emotional release, so it feels like freedom, but it doesn't lead to actual freedom. Actual freedom is having no point of view about anything and being total space with everything, right? Can you imagine doing, I don't even know, can you imagine doing relationship trauma and drama in front of a horse? Sometimes I picture this. I'm like, if you put a relationship problem in front of a horse, the horse will just look at you and go on eating his grass. Right? When you put some of this stuff that gets us all tied up in knots, that we choose to be knotted about, in front of an animal or a being that does a lot of space, it's nonsensical. Why? Because it is nonsensical. It's nonsensical. It doesn't actually make sense. Thank you. So that's interesting, because you have to, I've had to start looking at what's actually real here. Are other people's reactions to me real? Because they're intense and they're directed at me, does that mean they're real? Have I made that intensity of need, that intensity of withdrawal, that intensity of separation, have I made that the real thing? What's actually real? And what do I want to know is real? What do I want to substantiate as a reality? And the reality, consciousness is no point of view, absolute allowance. Am I going to choose to use the energy that is the insanity in this reality? Because right now there's a lot of insanity, right? There's the Trumps of the world, the Putins of the world, the massacres, the animal mutilations, the relation, and then you bring it down to the microscopic, the relationship dramas, the money problems. There's a lot of insanity that a lot of people are choosing to function with. But what am I going to choose as my functional reality? Am I going to support consciousness in me? And how am I going to do that? Right? Of course, there's the 10 keys to total freedom. Yes. I have a class going on about that right now. Being a great facilitator of yourself. And then we have all these other tools that come in and support us as well. And so I wanted to give you this because it's when they talked about in class the stranglehold of techie reality. There's a story in Beyond the Utopian Ideal that I encourage you guys to read. It's Beyond the Utopian Ideal by Gary Douglas, and you can get it on Kindle. And right in the beginning of that book, there's a story called The Golden Planet that I'm not going to go into. But that's where you're going to find out about techies and what I mean by that. So I'm not going to explain it a lot because it doesn't really make a lot of sense in this reality. But what's happening here is a stranglehold of a reality that's not true for us. And it shows up in relationships, and it shows up in money, and it shows up in family, and it shows up in all of these very linear constructs of how these things are supposed to go, right? If you're in a relationship, then you should blah, 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 blah. That's techie reality. That means that's the linearity of this reality. If you have a family, then you have to do this, this, and this. That's linearity of this reality. If you are getting old, then your body has to decay. If you have blonde hair, then you have to be stupid. No, I don't know. But like that's the stranglehold. So, and it feels like that actually. Like my little situation this morning was like, wow, I could easily go into the stranglehold of relationship, right? It's also what we call a distractor implant because it distracts you from the choices you really have. I could go into the stranglehold, I could be that, or I could literally choose something else. And so instead of that, I'm going to take all this energy, and instead of trying to figure it out, try to figure out where I'm wrong, which is what I would normally do, I'm going to take that energy, I'm going to frack the insanity underneath it so that I can break apart the solidity of the shit that feels more real than absolute and total allowance and consciousness. And what showed up for me was this immense amount of potency and strength and gratitude for this person, for me, the knowledge that I'm the source, I have me, and regardless of what anybody else chooses around me, I have me. And that is the gift of consciousness. That is one of the multitude of gifts of using and choosing consciousness in the creation of what you'd like to have as your life. Because then I was able to come back into that situation and have all my barriers down and be really gentle and just go, hey, listen, it's okay. I get where you're at. And when you're ready, I'm here. And really be interesting point of view. Be it. Not do it. Not use the tool, do the tool, but really be it. And this is the conversation of accessing consciousness. How many of the situations in your life have you not yet accessed consciousness? Consciousness opens the doors to all healing, all choice, all ability, all of you. Consciousness gives you you. Not quite that linearly, but that's how that works. So what will you choose? So these little moments in our lives, the pains in our lives, the emotional pains, the physical pains, the monetary pains, all the pains are actually a possibility of making a choice. What are we going to do with that energy? Are we going to get involved in it and go into the trauma and drama of it? Which, cool, if you do that. Are we going to get swept away by the conclusions that we've decided about this pain? Are we going to take that energy and do something else with it? Pain is a power you're avoiding. And I saw that this morning in this my little situation this morning. I was like, well, I could avoid the power I have to change this and go into the trauma and drama of this little moment. Or I can literally use the pain of this moment and I can shit on and frack up and explode the insanity creating it. Because listen, guys, everything on the top of our lives, all the pains, all the things that are showing up, all the money, and are a result of choices we've made 10 years ago. They're a choice and maybe 10 years ago we were insane, right? We're all here now, so that's cool. Now we're here, but we are a natural being. We are a farm, like we are a forest, and we've either been cultivated or we are wild, unruly, and like on fire, right? Because of the choices we've made over these last years. So, okay, fine, right? So now it's looking at, well, what do I want to be and create now? Would I like to access more consciousness here? Or would I like to get involved in what I would normally get involved in? I want to get involved in the drama and drama. I want to make what he just said to me real. I want to have a fight now because that's what we do, right? That's the whole trigger reality. What will you do with the energies that present themselves? So, what would it be like to take all the energy of what you become aware of at any given moment that you would normally call a trigger, that you would normally react to, and literally use it to frack the insanity underneath it? Everything that is not ease and joy and glory is the insanity of this reality. And if you need more information on techie reality, go read Beyond the Utopian Ideal and see if it makes you lighter. You are different. Whether you claim it or acknowledge it or live from and as it, you are different. You have different abilities. You have different capacities with energy. And you have been brave enough to get this far in the conversations of consciousness. But are you leaving them as conversations, or are you beginning to institute consciousness as a reality in your world? All of these tools that we talk about in Access Consciousness are designed to give you your reality. And your reality isn't the trauma and drama of this reality. You can function from the trauma and drama of this reality. You can function from the pain of this reality. You can not use that energy. You can medicate to make it go away. You can do all kinds of things with that. But what would you like to create and have as your reality? If you get involved in the pain, if you get involved in, which is triggers, like a trigger, if you get involved in a thing and you react, all of a sudden you're in the pain of this reality. If you align and agree, or you resist and react, like whichever, like you're in the pain of this reality. You are now substantiating techie reality on the planet. That's the choice in that moment. And that's not wrong, but that's real. That's true. So this for me is like, okay, cool. So what if I were willing to have the strength of being that's required of me to not actually get involved in what is presented to me as real? Somebody else's feelings about it, somebody else's projections at me, somebody else's judgments of me, right? And I literally just looked at that, perceived the energy of it, and took that energy and fracked the insanity underneath it so that all of us could have more freedom. Because the truth is that consciousness is oneness. We are all one. Everything's one. It's all one. So those of us that are willing to access more consciousness and use the moments in our lives to create more consciousness with any tool available are the ones that are going to begin like expanding and broadening the river and the ocean and the tsunami of consciousness that can become the dominant reality on planet Earth. But that's up to us. And in every moment of our life, with every single thing, every single person, every single conversation, every single money insanity, every single pain, we are given a choice. What will you do with me? What will you do with me? Will you use this energy to create, or will you use this energy to destroy? And of course, with a trigger, like you're in it, right? You're like, you're in it, you just reacted. But what I want to start with this conversation is one, to give you a tool, and two, to begin broadening and expanding the awareness of, hey, you've got choice. You have choice. You can get swept away in your own pain, or you can realize it's happening and go, well, fuck, everything this pain is and all the energy that it is and everything I've decided it is, never mind. And you use that to frack the insanity underneath. And whether that, I don't even care anymore if that seems weird, because it is weird. We are weird. And until we're willing to stand up and be different and stay weird, like Dane says, the world won't change. So fuck it. Let's just be weird. Fuck it. You're a gift. And will you be, with all the things that come up in your life, with all the people that are weird and all the people that do weird shit, will you be the gift? That's you being the gift. That's you taking what everybody else will make real, everybody else will get swept away in, everybody else will buy, and you're going, never mind, I'm not buying that. No. Do you do that in front of the other person you're having an issue with? Probably not. But you can go to the bathroom. You can take yourself away and you can do whatever the fuck it takes to change the energy. You can do whatever the fuck it takes to access more consciousness. How will you use the situations in your life to access more consciousness? Consciousness is allowance. Consciousness is the prima materia. Consciousness is what is. Everything else is made up. And when you buy it as real, when you buy that intensity as real, it must be real, I must be wrong, it must be finally the proof I've been looking for how wrong I really am, then you validate a different reality. You validate this reality of judgment, this reality of destruction, this reality of evil, this reality of no consciousness, this reality of anti-consciousness. every time you do that. And you're not wrong, and I'm not wrong, but we need to start really taking responsibility, more responsibility for our choices in every moment. Because we are the creators of a different future if we're willing to acknowledge it and claim it. And we will either create destruction or we will create more space and more consciousness. What will you choose in every moment? Will you choose to get swept away in this incredibly judgmental reality and let that be more powerful than you? Or will you take the pain of that and use that energy to create a different possibility in the world? None of this shit has to make any sense, which is what I love. Frackercise. None of this shit has to make any sense, which is what I love about access consciousness. But if it makes you lighter, it's true for you. What's light is true for you, and what's heavy is a lie. If this inexplicably makes you lighter, all I'm saying is use it. What energy, space, and consciousness can we in our bodies be? To be, know, perceive, and receive the future that we are capable of creating with total ease. And everything that doesn't allow it, times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That's the clearing statement. If you're new to that, you can go to theclearingstatement.com. But what would it be like to take up the challenge of who we truly are? What are you really? Are you just another normal human? Or are you something different? And would it be more fun to really begin to claim the difference that you are? Claim it. Be it. You're weird, and that's the gift you are. You perceive energy, and that's the gift you can be. What will you do with what you perceive? Will you get involved in it, or will you engage with the energy itself and use it to split open the insanity that is ruling the world right now? The world needs you. I need you. We need you. So we get to show up now. It's time. But it's time in the small moments of our life where we think we're alone, where we think our head tripping will go unnoticed, where we've decided we're not a part of creating this. You are. And your choices matter. And so this is your invitation to use the seemingly little things of your life, the things that would normally trigger you, that you would just get swept away in, to use those to create something different. And you don't have to understand it, and you don't have to get it, and you don't have to explain it to anybody, and you don't have to tell anybody. Just for you, just for fun, just for us, just for fun, what would it be like to create a reality of consciousness that soon overtakes the other reality so fast and so quickly that nobody actually knows what happened. This is me super grateful for these tools, super fucking grateful, and super grateful for you, and I'm so grateful for you guys watching my show, and I'm so grateful for you sharing it with your friends, and how does it get any better than this? I will see you guys next week.